I'd say there is still a distinction between continental philosophy and analytic philosophy, but not a real divide. And I think the differences can be best explained in terms of style and fashions, if you like, not so much in terms of content, methods, or doctrines. I mean, we should be aware that many philosophers, we think they are analytic philosophers, and rightly so, belong to a continental tradition. I mean, think of Wittgenstein, think of Frege, think of the Vienna circles. And if I look around today, especially looking at younger scholars, I mean, there are many scholars in the continental departments in France and in the Scandinavian countries and in Germany, which have a very good training in analytic philosophy, and I would consider them analytic philosophers. And on the other hand, there is excellent scholarly work done on classical continental figures like Kant, Hegel, and Heidegger among and by American scholars and scholars from the UK. So there's a kind of exchange now going on, and it's difficult to, in a way, to relate a certain style of philosophy to a certain continent or to a certain region. And I think many philosophers who are in favor of, let's say, continental approaches, who would say, well, I consider myself a Kantian or Hegelian, would try to do a Kantian philosophy, for example, by means of analytic philosophy. So analytic philosophy has become a kind of benchmark of doing philosophy in terms of method. So the clarity, the explicitness, let's say the intersubjectivity, approachability of the analytic style of doing philosophy is something you cannot get around. And I myself, as a Hegelian, for example, I prefer scholarly work on Hegel, which is done with the analytic clarity, and that is available. And on the other hand, I think continental philosophy can still contribute something to analytic philosophy. Let me put it this way. Analytic philosophy is analytic. That is, complex problems and issues are cut down in tiny parts, and they are in a kind of piecemeal engineering approach solved step by step. That's why analytic philosophers tend to write small papers. On the other hand, continental philosophers try to see the whole pictures. So their approach is more synthetic, and that's why they still tend and inclined to write large books. But that is, I'd say, a slight difference in putting the emphasis and a difference in fashion and style, but it's not a really methodological divide, nor a divide in terms of, let's say, the epistemological and ontological assumptions.